class, I'll be discussing change in the quantity supply. Change in the quantity supply could be an increase in the quantity supply or a decrease in the quantity supply. The change in the quantity supply is mainly caused by a change in the price of the commodity. So we assume other factors are held constant here. Now, let's draw our supply curve to illustrate that. So we have QS, quantity supply, origin, we have the price axis. This is the supply curve S. Now, let's assume we have a particular price here, P1, and the corresponding quantity supply is Q1. Now, let's assume there's an increase in the price of the commodity to P2. We can also trace the corresponding quantity. We trace it here, so the corresponding quantity here is Q2. The price has risen from P1 to P2 as just saw that we have the quantity rising from Q1 to Q2. This follows the law of supply, that at a higher price, sellers will be willing to supply more. To sell more, sellers will be willing to sell more. And at a lower price, sellers will be willing to sell less. Okay, so if I call this point A, this is point B, you can see there is a movement from this point A to point B. Because of the increase in the price and there's a movement from point A to point B, therefore the quantity supply has also increased from Q1 to Q2. The summary is that an increase in the price of the commodity is the main cause of an increase in the quantity supply of the commodity. Also, let's look at the case of the decrease in the quantity supply of the commodity. So, like we say, the summary is that an increase in the price of the commodity is the main cause of an increase in the quantity supply of a commodity. Now, let's look at the case of a decrease in the quantity supply. So, let's say we have our supply curve. This is the price axis. Let me just use P. This is QS. This is the origin. If I have the supply curve SS here, okay. Now, let's say where I have a particular price, I call it P1, I can trace the corresponding quantity supply, I call it Q1. Now, let's say there's a decrease in the price of the commodity, let's say from P1 to, let's call it from P1 to P2. We can also trace the corresponding quantity, we call it Q2. We call it Q2, you can see this is the initial point A, we can call it this one B. You can see when there's a decrease in the price from P1 to P2, there's a movement along the same curve. Movement along the same curve from point A to point B here, and the quantity supply has reduced from Q1 to Q2. So the conclusion or the summary is that the main cause of a decrease in the quantity supply is a decrease in the price of the commodity. Okay, you can also see from here there is a movement along the same curve, along the same supply curve from point A to point B. That is the case of an increase in quantity supply. Don't forget to like this video, drop your comment, also share the video to benefit others. Bye.